Y'all lost that game?
We lost to him. My freshman year at Xavier.
Okay.
Chris Young is a sophomore, I think, at Princeton.
Okay.
And he is just ringing me up. Like, I can't get a beat on what he's doing.
Yeah.
He's throwing these types of drop passes. He's shooting these crazy sky hooks. He's like, doing these wraparound passes, just doing crazy stuff. So the next year, we're scheduled to play Princeton, and he left and entered the Major League Baseball.
I'm done with this.
He's literally, to this day, I tell people, like, that's the best player I've ever played against that I never got to play against twice. Playing against Princeton, in those times, like back in the early 2000s, that was the toughest challenge you could find because
they were solid back then.
Back cuts, yeah, they would go to the tournament stuff. Back cuts, and you couldn't deal with it,
Yeah. Damn, that's tough.
Yeah.
That's tough. Your favorite college teammate?
Favorite college teammate?
Yeah.
That's man. Anybody that played with me, I love all them guys. My teammates at Xavier, man. Every one of them, especially those last 2 years. Those guys were, that was a special group. I mean, those are my friends now. Like, those are my lifelong.
That's how college is. High school's
friends.
Whatever, but college.
Lifelong friends, man.
Yeah, you're forever. Favorite Netflix show?
Ooh.
It could be like, it could be TV show in general.
Yeah, so favorite Netflix show?
Mine is not even on Netflix, Power.
Oh, your Power?
Yeah,
Okay.
Power is fun.
Well, my favorite show was The Office for a lot of years.
Yeah, everyone loves that.
And then Law and Order SVU, I watched, like, it was the only thing I could, for pregame, for some reason, like, I would watch Law and Order SVU to
before every game.
Get my
What,
mind.
Ice-T in?
Yes.
Before every game?
That was like I would sit down my pregame meal and I would have to have Law and Order SVU on. Like, it was just something about, like, it would just get me hyped for games, and I could leave the house, leave the hotel room, like, let's go. Like,
Greatest player all time.
Greatest player.
Greatest player all time. I know this hard for you too.
It's hard. No. I would say. I won't
lie. I'm going with LeBron.
I'm gonna say LeBron too. Okay. And like I said, only because I just think that
when he's done, he'll get his respect.
Yeah,
I think
he's just been too dominant for too long, and he's so physically imposing. We've never seen a guy who's been so physically imposing. That's not a big man.
Yeah.
LeBron is just. He's too big, strong, and fast for any era. And I think that when you talk about the era of basketball that we were in, and I've got tons of respect for, the old school 80s and 90s. But I think with what sports medicine has done and sports science has done to
evolution and all these things, it's
changed the game. So I just think people are being dishonest, and I'm gonna say this on your platform so people will finally understand. Like, it's not that hard to understand the difference in eras, right? So at my heaviest, when I was in Indiana, I was 273.
Okay.
Right. 273 pounds. Yeah. Roy was 295 pounds.
This is Roy Hibbert.
Roy Hibbert.
Okay.
Roy was anywhere from 295, 285 on a light day, 295 on a heavy day, right?
Yeah.
We had Danny Granger, who played the 3. And he was 245 pounds at the 3. Paul George was 220 at the 2. And whether it was Lance or if we had Lance at the 1, Lance is 230 pounds as the point guard. George Hill, 195. Right? For as great as the Pistons were in the 90s, I'm not taking any. The Pistons with Isaiah and Lambeer, those guys were great.
Yeah.
Lambeer was only 245 pounds.
Nah, that's bad.
You understand? Like, Rick Mahone was 250.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
On the Knicks, with Anthony Mason and Oakley, those guys were super tough. Xavier McDaniel, Mace was 245. Patrick was 235.
Yeah.
Right? So physically, there was a time in the NBA where, like, Memphis, for instance, when Memphis had Zebo and Gasol, you're talking about 275 at the power forward and center. You're talking about you're talking about just bigger, stronger people. So it's not a matter of who's doing what. It's if you're playing shooting guard at 213 pounds, how can you deal with 270 pound
Thank you.
wing.
Thank you. You said that.
That's all.
Thank you said that. And then plus, I'll be trying to tell people, I'm like, you gotta understand, a shooting guard in today's game is like the way the league's going. It's like 6'7", 6'8". You don't have 7-footers bringing the ball down. I mean, besides like Magic or whatever, you don't have no KD or Giannis could bring the ball down court.
It would be, but we just
you saw the Nuggets lineup.
Yeah,
that's where the game's going towards.
Right,
you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yes.
And I just think that we got to just be honest. Like, sports science and sports medicine has changed the way that players literally the physical nature of players. And so the reason why the NBA had to change the rules was because it was too easy. I said this a few weeks ago. It was too easy for guys like me to just put my hand out on somebody on the perimeter, and you couldn't get by me. If I could use one hand and keep my hand on your hip, that's why it wasn't an issue of a matchup issue. You didn't have switching problems. It was once the NBA said no hands out front. So now that opened up, and you've got freedom of movement.
Yeah.
So even when I've heard guys say, well, with LeBron back in the day with hand checking, he would have shot 100 free throws. He would have shot just as many free throws as Michael, if not more. Because how do you stop somebody who naturally is 250 pounds? Like LeBron naturally is a 250-pound dude, right? He's had to come down to 250. Most of his career he's played, 255, 260 plus. Just in raw player ability, I go with LeBron. I got nothing, Michael's the greatest, just the greatest, basketball showman, that we've had. He's the greatest innovator. He's the greatest icon that we've had for the game. And he revolutionized the game when he played it. But I just can't get beyond the science behind, what I'm looking at.
Yeah.
And knowing that, like, okay, I know how great you guys were, but Dennis Rodman was 210 pounds, man, playing power forward. I don't think like there was 210 pounds. I don't know how you guard Zach Randolph. I don't know how you deal with Blake Griffin at 210 pounds. And I get it. Great athlete, whatever. But how do you guard that? How do you stop that? How do you, physically? So that would be my only thing. And I think sometimes we get that confused.
So thank you for tuning in. The OG character did this for me.
Appreciate it, man.
Appreciate
All
you.
good.
So,
yes, sir.
Like, subscribe, and more content on the way. Thank you. So appreciate you.
Yes, sir, bro.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, good deal, man.